Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you have had a great week. I can't remember when the last video was. I know we did two in one day earlier this week. It's been absolutely manic for me all over the place. But yeah, so that's us finished with the first knockout round of the Champions League, guys, okay? And it's a great opportunity, what we've seen over the last 2 or 3 weeks, whatever it's been, to really study the market and really see what lessons can be taken out of this, okay? So there's two kind of obvious players we want to highlight for positive reasons. One being Van Dijk, who, as we predicted 2 weeks ago, having a good day today, it would soar past that £5 barrier with ease. So if you watched that video and you picked him up when he was 4.49, well done to you. We've been doing pretty well, guys, with some of the videos we've been dropping. When we've been highlighting individual positions, and in a 2 to 4 week period they've really turned around. Not all of them, guys, if you picked every winner then you'd be a very, very rich person, but the ratio the channel sitting on there now is really good. So please subscribe for future content, like the video. I always encourage you to subscribe, to comment and interact and all that type of stuff as well. But yeah, so Van Dijk, we kind of called it, and you guys, if you've seen the game last night, you know what happened. You can obviously see why, okay? Now, one of the things I do kind of quite often say on this channel when we're chatting about positions and whatever, is when players take big spikes up, it can be a position you want to hold a bit of caution with and maybe bide your time before buying, okay? But with somebody like Van Dijk in the situation he was in, and Ronaldo when we get to him, the reason they've taken a spike is really obvious, and it's really logical, okay? So big spikes like that I'm not as worried about, okay? I'll always try and hold off to midnight before purchasing if I've not bought them before the match, okay? If you're not too sure what I mean by that or why, go back and check out our video. I think it was called Buying Profit, Operation Komen, something like this. So I was obviously backing up Goretzka last night. I thought Bayern Munich would have done the business last night, to be honest with you, and as soon as it became evident that Bayern Munich weren't going to do it, I had to dump him. I made a deposit off my own back to kind of take the loss out of my pocket rather than out of my portfolio, if that makes sense. So I had to quick sell him for 2.42, and then we lost about £4 in commission, so we're throwing away about 15 quid. So I deposited £40, I think it was, and then with that money we went and bought Van Dijk, and then I went and topped up, I think it was some Haidara I might have picked up, because he's trading quite low now, and I'll chat to you about that in a second. I'll even show you the transactions. Yeah, so there we go, you can see that we've dumped him, and then we've went and picked up some Haidara, and we've picked up some Van Dijk, okay, which we're quite happy with, okay. So that's the first thing, okay, is with players any kind of level they're at, regardless of where you think they're overpriced or underpriced, qualification in big tournaments like the Champions League, are progressing really far in the Europa League, or doing really well in the domestic competition, scoring, playing well, winning dividends, whatever as well, is for some players, some positions like your Van Dijks and even Coutinho and these types of guys, is vitally, vitally important to their value, okay, and that's why we'll just move on to Ronaldo, okay. If you look at Ronaldo's graph over the last, over this last month, okay, Champions League football is a major driver for Ronaldo. One of the main reasons you want to hold Ronaldo is for media dividends, okay, because the guy is such a presence in the media, in every outlet possible, online, radio, newspaper, TV, everything. The guy's spoken about all over the world, okay. So if you look at this graph here, it took a massive drop off the back of the 2-0 loss to Atletico Madrid in the first leg, and then as you can see, there was a great opportunity to buy if you believed that Juventus were going to progress, okay, and if you didn't, then you've got to back yourself, guys. And again, to reference a previous video, the key to success in Football Index, guys, is your football knowledge, okay. So you take that into consideration as well. And again, equally, as you can see, further qualification, he's done great in the match. We all know about the hat-trick and all that type of thing as well, and he's jumped right back up, okay. And then as a draw happens on, is it Friday tomorrow is the draw? Again, depends on who the draw is against. You'll see a lot of these Champions League players rising and decreasing depending on who their draw is against, and whether the masses of the market believe they're likely to A, do well in those matches as treble match days by themselves, and B, the potential for them to qualify into the semi-final and then again have another shot at 2 treble match days that isn't available to as many players on the index, okay. So you really need to be keeping an eye on the draw if you're holding any of these players. You might want to look at some of them now think, is it worthwhile offsetting any potential losses? You might have massive profits. Say you have, I've got 10 Ronaldo, so if I was in a rush or I wanted to release some of that money, I might sell maybe 30% of him before the draw, and then wait and see how the draw pans out, and then just hedge your bets, because if they get an awful draw and the market believes it's not achievable for them and the price drops, then you'll be kicking yourself for not taking advantage of at least some of that profit. Okay, so the market, guys, it's taught us Champions League knockouts and Europa League. We'll get Europa League's finishing up tonight, okay, and again, when we drop the video tomorrow, we'll have a wee look back at some of the Chelsea and Arsenal players, and maybe guys like Felix, depending on what goes on with Benfica. Benfica are down from the first leg, so Felix might be a good one for you. We've missed the 2 o'clock kickoff for actual deadline for dividends, but again, Felix is hovering around this £6.50 mark, okay, and again, I'll put my name on it, guys. If Benfica turn it around against Zagreb, which is very, very, very possible. Zagreb away from home in Europe historically are terrible in all competitions, Champions League group stages, whatever. And Benfica at home, Benfica are a powerhouse of the Champions League, so Felix is somebody you want to be keeping an eye on, because even if he doesn't do anything tonight, but if they qualify for the next round, again, it's a treble match day, he'll be involved in next time around, and just with the media attention he's getting, he's a very, very valuable player to be watching out for. And if you've picked him up at a dip, very valuable for you to hold on to for now anyway, okay. There's something else I was going to come to. Oh yeah, decreasing. Okay, so this decreasing list is only going to show us the last 24 hours. Okay, so we're only really going to see the Bayern Munichs and the Real Madrids, these types of teams that have been knocked out. Atletico Madrid players, Griezmann or whatever as well. Okay, but if you look at the Champions League as a whole, Depay, Bale, all the players that have just been knocked out of the Champions League, none of them are increasing. Okay, now what this presents you with, and again, this is something you want to learn from the market. If you're a long-term holder, or if you're looking for your next long-term hold, you're maybe moving from one to another, points like this, if you're looking really far afield, I'm talking about a year, 6 months plus minimum, is a great time to pick some players up when people are just dumping them because they are maybe more like myself. I'm more of a short-term guy. 1 to 3 months is normally what I'm comfortable with. We'll be dropping them like Goretzka, before they get too cheap. It's a great time to buy if you're looking to hold them on, because Goretzka, just as an example, just because I had them last night and we're kind of chatting about him now, as soon as he does well again in the Bundesliga, he will have a little bit of a recovery. Will he get up to the kind of levels we've seen him get to in the last 3 months? Quite unlikely, unless he's linked with Real Madrid or something like this, okay? But doing well in the Bundesliga and scoring well and earning dividends, you can definitely get, a 10% rise on him in that kind of time period. If you look at Bayern Munich's fixtures, who they've got, and if you fancy him to do well, score some goals for you and that type of thing, then there's still profit to be made in these guys. And the fact as well that they've got a very good, you look at Goretzka, he's got a ceiling very comfortably of even, let's see, those blue lines are going to be something like 270, 280. So even if he was to return to that level, that's, as I say, that's closer to 40 pence, so somewhere in the region of 20% of an increase. Okay, so it's a great opportunity to buy players, guys, if you're not in a massive rush to make profit on them. You're looking for a long-term hold. This is something the market wants to teach you. Okay, so if you're looking at anyone else who's maybe on the increase list, and maybe for another reason, maybe nothing to do with Champions League, but when these players have setbacks of any description, injury, knocked out of the league, poor form, whatever, it's a great opportunity to buy and pick players up. Okay, so we're always wanting to be learning lessons from the market, guys. You can't always take advantage of every player who's taking a rise, every player that's trending, but what you can do is assess these situations and go, next time this happens, I want to make sure I'm in this position to take advantage of that type of player, or I've been watching this player for a while, and if this result doesn't go their way, which I think it might, then that'll be a great time to buy. So I'll keep some money loose and active and spare to take advantage of that. Okay, guys, so it's important that you're always learning from the market, how it moves, how it manipulates itself, what stimulates growth, what stimulates I was going to say the opposite of growth, let's just call it losses, whatever you want to call it, guys. You want to correct me, drop a comment, and it's just important you're always watching out for that so you can take advantage of it. And as I say, guys, every video I've done, guys, I think there's been a great tip in every one of them in hindsight now, looking back. And as I say, with the channel, we're always trying to be proactive and give you players to look at and think about ahead of time, before big rises and before big spikes. Okay, so if you're looking for inspiration, diving back through the video, pardon me, the playlist and trying to find something you've not watched before is some good advice. Okay, you won't always catch the players at the same price, obviously, if it's a video that's 2 or 3 weeks old by this point. But I try and give you as much content as possible to make sure that you guys are thinking as broadly as possible. Okay, because with Football Index, you can, myself included, you very easily can find yourself watching the same group of players over and over again, and especially if you've got this bloody technical glitch that I've got, that I've had the whole time I've had this channel practically, that my bloody watch list doesn't load. I keep saying I'm going to try that on the tablet, see if it works, but I've never got time to it. But yeah, so you find yourself constantly looking at the same players, no doubt, and sometimes your watch list, when I get access to my watch list, is going to be much bigger than I want it to be, because I've just been adding players into it when I see them, and I think, right, when I get it active, I want to make sure I'm watching this guy and watching that guy and everything as well. But it's really important, guys, just to say it again, you're tracking players and then you learn from how the market moves, so then you're not surprised when, you know, when Goretzka's dropping, it doesn't affect me personally, it doesn't upset me, I don't feel bad about myself, I just accept I took a gamble on that player. It was a great opportunity and the result didn't go my way. It's football, guys, and as I say, you do need to remember, at its core, Football Index is gambling, okay? In those situations with me and Goretzka, that's where Football Index make money, is when you back something and it doesn't come off, okay? But the beauty, pardon me, of the Football Index is I'm only accepting that loss now. If I wanted to hold, I could have held Goretzka for another 3 years, and in that time I would have easily found a situation of profit at some point, as long as it doesn't break his leg or, you know, something stupid like that. I've decided to take the loss to move the money on and try and earn it elsewhere with Van Dijk. Okay, so as I say, guys, pardon me, it's always important you're watching the market, keeping your ear to the ground, what's happening in the news, what's active, what's happening out there, okay? And then, like I was just saying, guys, I'll talk to you about Haidara, right? Just as an example with me here. Probably better if I jump into the app. I've got the app open, yeah. So with Haidara, I topped up on Haidara last night, so obviously I was involved in no Champions League football. 194 is pretty much the cheapest he's been getting picked up for in the last 7 days. The last month or so, since he's reached that new kind of plateau. So again, I'm aware that the market's attention is not anywhere near these niche, potentially bargain purchases. The attention is on the big headlines, the Van Dijks, the Manes, the Ronaldos. So if I am watching cheaper players or ones that are off the radar, then that's when I want to be picking them up, is when the market's attention is focused on these big events, you know, Liverpool, Man United, you know, these types of things, guys, okay? So it's always important you're timing your purchases as well as possible, okay? And if you have a look over the portfolio, I'm really excited for this share split to come. I believe it's going to do a lot for us, and I believe with the Champions League and the way everything's going, we're in a great position now for the portfolio to really bounce up and get into a great profit margin, okay? Which we're kind of hovering around break even at the moment, which isn't great. It's not terrible. I'd rather always be break even than negative, guys, okay? I said at the top of the video, guys, but if you've enjoyed the content, you go back, watch some of our videos and you like them too, please subscribe to the channel. If you find me on Twitter, please retweet, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.